Hi, I'm Ethan Jennings, or Bacon, and this is the first episode of my indie game devlog. I'm really excited to get started on a new project, and this is just a way for me to communicate the process of making it to all of the viewers out there. With that being said, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon if you want to see more like these in the future. Thanks! Before I start the video, I have to mention that this project is being developed under GameHeads, a program based in Oakland, California that's main goal is to equip low-income youth and youth of color with the tools and abilities to succeed in any field they choose, including the tech industry or the video game industry. So, thank you to GameHeads for allowing me to create this project. The first step I took with making this game was to think of an idea and put a twist on it, like I usually do. A perfect example of this is one of my main indie games, Rainbow Repo, which is a top-down shooter game where you can control the movement of your player, but not your aim. I decided on making a first-person roguelike game where you can use cool abilities to defend yourself within a small space. I then created a deck for it and pitched it up to the folks over at GameHead so I could get their thumbs up on the idea. Once it was accepted, I was good to go. Here's a short overview of the game. The main character is a small indie developer who decides to pitch their invention to Genaria, a huge corporation that basically owns everything. While the main character is pitching their invention via video call, they start to notice that the employees at the company are slowly transforming into monsters. The heavy duties and crunch hours of the company are literally turning them into corporate monsters. The video call gets dropped and the player has to travel to the company itself to uncorrupt the enemies and find out who's causing it. Now that I knew the base of the story and the gameplay loop, it was time to start making it. I opened up a new Unity project and imported a few standard assets, including a first-person controller and an input handler. Now I have a player that can move around via running and jumping. I made desks in the office and pretty much everything is procedurally generated, so things are quite a bit unique every time. I then created the player's first abilities along with an energy system and a basic ghost enemy for them to battle. This was a sort of proof of concept for me, so I could figure out where I wanted to go next for the game. I made it so the player could battle the ghost enemy, and when they became uncorrupted, they turned back into a human that is smaller than before. The reason that the workers are so small when you uncorrupt them is because their egos are shrunken, and now they're realizing that the company really isn't worth working for, so they follow you around. Now that I had a base game, I added a few more enemies and abilities, including a zombie and a few different attacks that you'll see coming up here. I made it so more than one enemy could spawn into the game at a time, but I messed up a few lines of code, so the enemy started to duplicate itself at high speeds while swarming the player. This gave for a really funny photo shoot that I got to post on Twitter, so at least I was there. It turned out that I got some basic math wrong in the code, so I fixed the enemies, and once I did that, the game was back to normal. I then decided to add one more enemy into the game, which was the drone. This is one of my favorite ones. It flies towards the player and tries to launch digital beams at them. It's really fun to play around with, and just seeing it follow you and try to launch things at you is just really cool. So, this is as far as I've really gotten with the game, and it's turning out to be really fun. And it's a bit hard at the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, it's really, really smooth and amazing. So, to recap on this short devlog, I finished the player's basic abilities, player movement, a basic level, and 3 enemies. I think this project is turning out really well so far, and this is just the first 2 weeks of development. I'm so excited for the future of this game and I can't wait to make more of it. The next things that I want to develop for this game are 2 more enemies, a few more abilities, and a few new levels. I know that creating these levels are probably going to be super hard since everything has to be procedurally generated, but that's what I'm willing to do in order to make a good game, so it is what it is. If you'd like to try this game, I'll put a link to the current demo in the description below. Thanks for watching this video and making it to the end. If you want to see more of this content and more episodes of the Devlog series, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. And if you want to just hear my voice as I ramble on about technology and video games, listen to our podcast, The Bacon Cast, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for watching.